Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Well, today we're gonna do the another Reacts one. Now, if you look at the bar, you can see it's halfway through. So I'm gonna start the modern history here. If you know what happened before, I'm making another video before, but I feel like the modern one is just easier for me because I know the modern one a bit more. So stay tuned, and yes, there is copyright. So if there is no music in a certain area, it's probably because I muted it because copyright stuff. Thank you. So this is just after Austria, Prussia, and Russia destroyed Poland, Lithuania. And this is in 1795, as you can see on the tombstone. Rest in peace. So this is when the people of Poland just come up from the grave, or in this case, it's very wintry, as you can see. This is a few years after, but they come up. This is like a republic or something. That's Napoleon, which we talked about in our last Reacts video. He lends a hand for them. This is when he's on his way to Russia. He picks them up and he recruits them. He's starting to get to follow him for independence. So look, this is Austria, Russia, and Prussia. That's like the Poland Republic. You see, Austria tries to fight. This is the Fifth Coalition War. We're not sponsored, by the way. So this has a sponsorship, but we are not sponsored. So they take back the land that they lost from Austria. Yeah, so they extend. And this is when they're fighting against Russia. So they join and help. So this is when they conquest Moscow, the capital. This is when they try to set it on fire. And then it starts snowing, which is where we know the onset of winter makes them, leave. And, the Russians are kings of the winter. And so Napoleon leaves. He's able to get out, but watch what happens. So Poland falls behind. And then they're sad. And Russia leaves him. And this is when they make another agreement how to split Poland again. So Prussia steals land, aka Germany nowadays. Don't worry, they get revenge. Austria steals that a little bit of land. And then this one's changed to Russia and becomes a different country now. They're just showing that because otherwise Poland would just be gone. But that's the flag of Russian Poland at this time. This was the November uprising, by the way. This is the January uprising. So taking back the land, but Russia seals it back. This is in the First World War, by the way. So this is when so they were forced to fight from Germany, Austria, and Russia, but it was just Germany and Austria versus Russia in this front, the Eastern Front. So yeah, forced to fight each other basically. Same happened in Russia. So this is when they're forced to fight each other. These guys are fighting to the death, but they don't want to fight. Yeah, they just don't want to bother. This is when they're beating Russia. Oh, this is the Kingdom of Poland. So this is Russia and Poland being independent, basically, but a subject. As you can see here. This is when they beat Germany and they declare independence. So they're finally free. This is when the newly formed Soviet Russia starts to attack the Baltic areas. This is the 20s or 30s. It's both. Mostly 20s, like early 1920s / late 1900s of 1910s. Sorry, this may be confusing. And so they're converting them to be little republic states until they unite under Stalin. This is the Polish-Soviet War of 1921. And they're fighting each other so hard. And so they both encounter Ukraine. And they're like, oh yeah, let's split it. As you can see, they split it. And then they attack Lithuania because they want the land back after, Poland and Lithuania died. So these are that's Ukrainian Republic and Belarusian Republic. Lithuania is free at this point. So during this time, they make Germany sign the Treaty of Versailles, which does many things, but it's also good for Poland. This is when they gave back the lost land, the land that Prussia stole from that little treaty thing at the kind of the beginning. Yeah, they get it back. So this is the Soviet offensive. This is the Battle of Warsaw. Not the German one, the Soviet one. In this one, not a future one. This is their offensive. So they sign a peace treaty. This is the Treaty of Riga. Whenever it says Treaty of something, that's where it was signed, by the way. Just a little fun fact. It doesn't even have to be inside the country or a capital. Well, it has to be inside the country, but you understand what I mean. So that was the map before. This is after. Yeah, Poland's taken over a lot. And now they're left with less land. So this is when Danzig becomes a free city. Look how cute he is. Let's take a moment to appreciate how cute they made Danzig. He's so tiny. Let's just take a moment. He doesn't exist anymore. He is no longer a free city, but was before. This is the 1930s. This is Great Depression. What did I say last video? What did I say? This was Polish superinflation, where the currency, the original one, that they had went super high up. And they're like, nope, get rid of the old one. Bring in the new one. And then it went from up all the way down. These are the conflict between the two people who wanted to be in charge. I don't know about this, but watch this. I don't really know much about this, but you can see it. Surrender your forces. Register your cabinet. So this is when he takes control, I think. This was 1933. This is not a good year. See, it's like France not noticing. 1938, they're killing Czechoslovakia. Rest in peace, put an F in the chat. But Poland only took land because there was this war at the very beginning. The very, very beginning. And they lost some land because of Czech Republic. Well, they're back then Bohemia. So they're just taking the land back, which I mean, it's fair. Fair. They'd barely taken it back. It took a tiny little bit. They're fine now. Don't worry. They don't hate each other or anything. This is a pact between Stalin and Hitler not to attack each other as long as they take lands. This is a map above you. Evil. So this is the parts that they wanted to take, like that. But why do they have this? Is because they have this, and this was the original part of the German Empire, by the way. This is the radio station incident. This is 1939, specifically August 30th or 31st. I'm not even gonna comment on this. They're just disguising themselves. You understand if you know what I mean. And as you can see, they're showing that they have very bad disguises. No one would fall for this plot. Hitler was an idiot. So they kill him. And disguise him poorly. This is a speech. This is Hitler saying a speech. Polish forces had attacked German territory. Since 5:45 a.m. we've been returning the fire. Yeah, right, you big fat liar. We know your scheme, Hitler. From now on, bombs will be met with bombs. And so they're just relaxing. And this is the post that marks the borders. And the Germans just kill one of the soldiers. Just when they invade. September 1st, 1939. because you see, Germany set them an ultimatum. So they wanted the Danzig corridor, which is like this area here, as you can see where my mouse is. But Danzig was a free city. They said no, so that's why they got invaded. This was I think when they defended it, or not? No, like, this was an offense. This one they invaded. Unmute. That's right. See, I knew they wanted the Danzig corridor. This is starting to be like, oh yeah, I remember this pact. You know what? Let's just attack now. Of course, you know. This is one very aggressive. Also, they're smoking on cigarettes. No wonder. And look at this guy. He destroys the border, meaning that there's no longer theirs. This is our last forces. And then they get taken over. This is when they just chase them off. This is the wait, what was? This is the fourth partition of Poland, or maybe the sixth. Keeping promising to the agreement, they say. Half. This was the like general government area. So they were doing war crimes in Poland. Just killing civilians because he hated Jewish people. And a lot of the people that lived in the East were Jewish. He hated Jewish and Soviet people. Mainly because, you know, there's a popular theory out there. You know what? I'll say it in another video. It's too complex. They do slavery. And if they don't follow, they get shot. See? He's acting wrong. Bad man. And this is when loads of people from Poland didn't want to be under German rule. So they either moved to Romania, as you can see here, or they moved over to the UK. It's either one, you know, either one. So this is when the USSR attacks the German government. They take the other half. Oh no, wait, no. This is when. So after that war, the peace treaty of Riga, they're giving the lands back to these guys. Now, he didn't split it in half like that. He took like little bits of it, like parts, like he made it sort of modern day borders, not all of the part of Poland, because they all own like a few little areas that is in modern day, I think. Taken massacre. Rest in peace, everyone. Ah, that's disgusting. What did you do? This means war. This is when that there was this battle of for the UK where they were just fighting the planes and the soldiers that were just, you know, down there. And I think it's 303rd Polish Fighting Squadron helped. So I mean, yay. Both just using a cigarette. Locked up. We're killing them. So this was the Auschwitz. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's a death camp that they made. Probably the most famous one. You see, it's known because there was a escape and a fire, and then it was never rebuilt. You can go there still. Um, yeah, people go there. And on September 1st, I think. I don't know. Can't remember when it is. So this is Operation Barbarossa, which totally failed, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it was a good idea at the beginning. You should have taken out everyone else first. I'm not even trying to help you. I'm just giving you common sense. You idiot. So they're like, oh no, he's attacking us. Now Poland's united but under worse rule. It's arguable. They're both worse. This is when they made a home army. This is when they started attacking the officers that were around as revenge. And they were helping as intelligence. Very helpful. And so this is when the Polish and the Soviets put aside the differences and worked together to make a people's army. Very copyright. I'm gonna mute copyright reasons. This is the Warsaw Uprising. When people are dying, as you can see here, they're being killed. So they're just doing their thing. So they're underground and they want to attack. They want to take back Warsaw from the enemies. And then they start to fight. Now the Germans didn't notice them. They're like, oh snap, and then they die. So not ready. And this is when they call the officers at home. This is not Hitler. He has like a little mustache. Look really close. He's like, what? No! Kill them instantly. Get the troops and kill them. They bring tanks. That's how annoyed they are. They're scared. They died. So this is when the Soviets are helping them, but it's not. This is when it starts to prove. So there's like this river, and they're fighting at one side, and they're losing. Now, so they just wait at the other side of the river while it's happening. Look, these guys aren't happy, but these guys are like, just wait, because they want all the glory. They don't want Poland taking the glory. They want to take the glory. And they die. So overall, you see they stopped at this little river, but they lost, but they exterminated in the most disgusting way ever. We'll not say it's bad, but it's just not good. They just kill them all. Don't even listen. This is another battle. So these are Soviet tanks, which were like, so each country that the USSR liberated, they would be supplying tanks, but it would have different symbols on them to show the country, like, you know, or the country, like, their animal choices, or, yeah, you get the idea. So they were winning. So what they did is they just really went straight for Berlin. And this was the Battle of Berlin, 1945. Hitler commits suicide. Poland, Soviet Union, literally all the other allies won. Well, World War II doesn't end until the Japanese nuke happened, but that's another thing. So copyright. So this is the agreement, so that they give this land to the USSR, like the land that was lost, but they give all of this land to Poland, giving it that shape that we all know. So this is when they take the land, and I like how they did this part, by the way. Watch. How they just take parts of Germany and they stick it on. You see, it's mismatched. I mean, they took back all of those lands that were taken. They were originally Poland's. So Poland never owned that little area. That was Germany's. Already, USSR took Kaliningrad. It's that little bit that's like, it's weird now, but back then it would have been fine. It doesn't fit with the borders now. It's because they took it, and during the, like the dissolution of the Soviet Union, they never declared independence or fell to any of the neighboring countries. So, but yeah, it's weird. They took it, but they weren't happy. This is when they rigged the elections and start the Eastern Bloc. You see, everyone's being tied up again by these big guys. So they want free elections, they want to have bread and freedom. So that basically means that, because they need better wages so they can buy the bread. And these are the People's Army who were under control of the USSR, so they couldn't help. They just killed them. This is the president. This is the start of the Warsaw Pact. NATO versus Warsaw Pact. But should I tell you something? So Yugoslavia over here was like the Soviets didn't like them. This was all NATO. Austria had its own problems. Spain had its own problems. Sweden just wasn't involved in the war, so they wouldn't be, there. Ireland declared independence. This area, I'm not sure what that is, but it's supposed to be Turkey. Switzerland wasn't involved. Yugoslavia was involved, but yeah, Albania joined the Warsaw Pact, so they're part until 1968. It's too expensive. Lower prices, higher wages. So you either have it two ways. You have higher wages or lower prices. Honestly, I'll just go with this one because this one's probably hard. You don't even listen, they just shoot. So this is actually a flag at the time, but it's just not shown on the country board. So this is when the republic started to fall apart. Not that Poland was falling apart, but just a republic, like the communist version. And they wanted elections. Like, we demand elections. And in 1989, they finally listened. During this time, Hungary and Czechoslovakia also had the same thing. So he crossed out communism and brought a democracy. Now, as a person who lives in a democracy, I mean, it's good. Not that great, but still. And then they joined NATO. So, just to pause there, the reason why I wasn't Czechoslovakia, because that collapsed in 1991. And then by the time they joined NATO, Czechoslovakia had already collapsed and just into two different countries. So only Czech Republic joined. Slovakia didn't. Well, not what I know of. Application for EU. They want to join the EU. EU says yes. They're super happy. This is 2022. 2022. This is the Russia war. Yeah. Secret weapon? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. And that's it, because the rest is just sponsorship. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.